it's a show you can watch with your kids, and it's nightmare fuel. If I had seen this when I was a kid, I would not have slept for days.
So today's topic, we're talking about scary movies, and that gave me the thought, like, do you have a realistic zombie plan if COVID were to like spread into some sort of zombie virus and everyone starts eating each other? Do you have a plan for survival?
I've thought about this before. I feel like I have a little bit. I don't think you're gonna like my answer.
Oh no, you're just gonna kill and eat everyone?
No, no. I don't really know why you'd want to live in a zombie world, post-zombie, virus, a post-zombie virus. I don't really. I wouldn't try that hard.
You're just gonna give up?
Yep.
Oh.
Not that I don't have anything to live for. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not being super depressive. I'm just saying, like, if everything is gone, every single structure and ideal that like held society together is gone, and you are constantly like need to be bunkered up during nights or days, and I don't know what type of zombie exactly.
Well, yeah, like you're kind of thinking about it as if like
I'm thinking like
it's
rage virus,
like
zombie.
really far in, and it's like you're not ever gonna go back to how things were.
If it's like, oh, I know someone, or I know someone who knows someone who got zombie, and
got that zombie 19.
Yeah, who got zombie 19, then yeah, I wouldn't go jump off a bridge or anything like that. I'd wear a mask. I don't want to get it. Yeah, that's my zombie plan. Is I'm gonna wear a mask.
Wear a mask. Hope for the best.
How about you? What would you do? I know you got your barbed wire bat.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a huge zombie movie fan, and I've given this a lot of thought. I think the best plan is always to get high ground, fortify around yourself, and have water, food and water. Like those are the things you need.
I know to be by water for sure.
Right. So I thought all three of those things, like what would provide all of that. And I'm a little nervous to give my plan away because if this does break out, I'm going to have to fight some people away. But I thought like a water tower would be the best sanctuary.
If you can get there first, I'm sure a lot of people would think that. And then also,
right.
Or if you can build a community around it where you have annual fight clubs and purges, then, start to build society back.
Sure. I can become the Immortan Joe of my water tower, if you've ever seen Mad Max. He hoards water.
Fury Road.
Yeah. Anyways, so the plan with that is it's got all three of those things. Like it's got high ground, so you can sit up high and scope if anything comes at you. There's only one access, and it's through a ladder, and it's got like a guard around it because they don't want kids climbing it. So it's like you can lock off the only way to get up there. It's got an immense source of water. There are like railings on the inside that you can like live on, and it's protection. Like no horde's ever gonna push a water tower down. Those things are made for like hurricanes and tornadoes.
And you can eat your neighbors.
Right, definitely. So yeah, that's my zombie plan, and I will take you in. Even though you want to die in this world, I will protect you. I will keep you safe. All right, so horror movies is today's topic.
Yeah.
And we each picked out one movie that we've seen that we really like and we want to talk about. And I know Henry's choice is a newer film that not many people have seen. And my choice is also a movie not many people have seen, but it's really good. So why don't you start?
Yeah, so the one that I chose today is a new movie that came out in 2020. I think it came out on Halloween or right around Halloween. Come Play.
Mm-hmm.
This one was I saw the trailers and I got my hopes up. I don't get my hopes up too often for horror movies. But the monster character that's in this one,
Creepy.
Larry. Yeah.
So I haven't seen this movie, so I
It
know
was-
nothing about what you're going to be talking about.
Okay, so it was originally written. It was written and directed by Jacob Chase. He originally made this as a short a few years ago, maybe like 6 years ago, and then the short did pretty well. I think it got like 13 million views or something like that. And
Is it the same title?
no, it was just called Larry, which
Okay.
is the name of okay. So, I guess I'm going to talk about the movie first. So, in this movie, the main character Oliver has severe autism and communication and like connection issues,
Mm-hmm.
and his mother Rachel is like the main person who has to deal with that. His father is kind of distant. I think he just doesn't handle it really well,
Mm-hmm.
especially at the beginning of the movie, and that causes a sort of a rift between Rachel and the father. So something that the director said that he wanted with this movie was to make a really the scariest movie he could before anything else, but he was able to tie in like meaning into it as well. So there's a lot to do with connections, and technology is also a integral part of this movie. So the only way you can see Larry is through the camera on like your phone or the iPad in the case of or the tablet in the case of Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
He uses that tablet to communicate because he has trouble speaking. That he has an app that he uses to spell out his sentences, and he was using something like Snapchat facial filter. This is all in the trailer, so it's not giving away too much. But he's spinning around, and the "try it with a friend" popped up in the wall behind him, and so that's like the first time he really started seeing him. And then continually on different screens, the story will pop up of misunderstood monsters, and it'll try to tell you the story about Larry, who I see as the like embodiment of loneliness. He just wants a friend, and people made fun of him because he looked different. And so it's wonderfully put together, like the way that the main character can't like even look his mother in the eyes because of his condition, and how even the one person who should be with by like the mother's side, like caring for this child, is her husband, who because of the connection with the child, they're having connection issues. Technology terminology, I guess. And the director Jacob Chase stated that he didn't want to make a commentary on technology from the beginning. He wanted to tell a scary story first, and I think the whole vibe of this movie is for a slightly younger audience. I believe. I don't think it's meant. It's not super gory. It's not like there's no like sex scenes or drug use or anything like that. It's a show you can watch with your kids, and it's nightmare fuel. If I had seen this when I was a kid, I would not have slept for days. The monster is like tall, skinny, but it's not in the Slender Man like cheesy kind of way. It's scary as hell. And yeah, I think it was wonderful. And I watched the short recently after I didn't know originally that it was he had made a short. But the whole short, they kind of just made into a scene in the movie and made it better, because the original Larry was not nearly as creepy as the final one. But there was they really kept the spirit of it, the creepiness. And going back to the dad, spoiler alert slightly, if that matters, he ends up at the very end being a very good dad. I guess I'll leave it at that. I don't want to go too much further because it is a pretty good story. I thought it was slightly predictable at the end. It has the whole arc is similar to Babadook, which I thought was a really good movie until the end, which kind of ruined it. This one didn't go as the turn that it took was a little less sharp, but it was in the same direction.
Okay. Yeah, we should actually do an episode on movies that started out as shorts, because I know like at least 3 just off the top of my head. They like start out as YouTube videos, or like they put them on Vimeo.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, by the way. Larry.
And they blow up, and like they're really high concept or like great concept, and then they use the same people, thankfully, who like made them, and they turn them into Hollywood films, and they're usually like the most like thought out and like loved thing. Like you can tell it's their baby. And yeah, there's a few movies out there that I'd like to discuss about that. But my movie I chose was His House. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix release, and this movie's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, it's not super jump scary, but the horror in it like literally gave me chills because it's just creepy. And it's so well acted, and it's such a different horror film. Like, there are jump scares, there are creepy scenes, but it's just got this whole different aura to it that, like, I don't really know how to describe it. Like, you just need to watch it. It's just got this whole different feeling to it.
Unsettling?
Very unsettling. And like the characters are so good. They're so different than what you normally see in like horror films today. Like, yeah, I'm still a little shook because I just watched it last night.
Oh yeah.
I was originally going to talk about an entirely different movie, and then I watched this movie, and now I want to talk about it because it like, yeah, I'm shook.
Can you go into a little more on what happened?
The 2 main characters from this are from South Sudan, and they're immigrants, and their story is about them leaving this awful home life. Like, there's famine, there's like genocide, war going on, and they escape on a boat to come to America to escape that life so they can live a better life. In the process, their boat capsizes, and they're saved by the Coast Guard, and they're taken in as refugees by the UK. And they're like kind of treated like prisoners at first because they don't know what to do with them, but eventually they like release them on the stipulation that they be good people and don't make life hard for anyone, and you can stay here as refugees. And so they're given this house, and when they move into this house, that's when things start to haunt them. And it's not a haunting in the sense of the ghost lives in the house. It's the ghost of their past that follows them is basically the premise of the story. And without saying any more that like spoils it, this movie really takes you on a journey of like, you start to think one thing about this movie, and then in the end it turns it on you, and you're not sure how you feel about these characters or about this monster. And in the end, it's got one of the most gorgeous shots I've ever seen the cinematography is very simple but beautiful in this movie, and like the ending of the movie like just really stuck with me, and yeah, it's really really good, and it's worth watching. And it is scary, but it is not so scary that you couldn't watch this with your girlfriend on like a movie night or something like that. It's really good. It is very dramatic though, so you got to be in the right mood for like a drama
heavy?
horror. It's heavy.
Cool.
All right, so those are our two movies that we have watched recently that we really like. But if you're not in the mood for that, we do have a few honorable mentions. There's a movie on Netflix called The Autopsy of Jane Doe. And it's a really good movie. And it's a really good like mystery horror, which is a really, really cool genre. You have anything?
If you're looking for a fun time with like an 80s slasher film, Slumber Party Massacre. That one's fun. That one's really fun. It's pretty dumb, but it's not too dumb. Like it actually is like competent. Mm-hmm. I was expecting to turn it off after like 10 minutes, but I watched the whole thing. I don't know about the. I've seen the covers for the second and the third one, and it looks like it gets pretty out of control. So that's a fun time.
And if you're not in the mood for horror, but you're in the mood for gore, there is this movie that I saw on Shudder called Mayhem, and it was really, really good.
See ya! That's a good pop.